it's Alexis with Project Management Made Simple. In this video, I'm going to answer the question, how to effectively collect requirements. So collecting requirements is a process of determining, documenting, and managing stakeholder needs and requirements to meet project objectives. The starting point when we're thinking of collecting requirements, we want to start with our project charter. Our project charter is going to inform us of what are those high-level requirements, what are the assumptions that have been made, and also taking a look at our stakeholder register to get a good understanding of who is it that we need to speak to understand what their requirements are for this project. With requirements, there's several kinds of requirements that may be possible depending on the nature of the project. For instance, if we're working on a software implementation project, then we'll have requirements like technical requirements, business requirements, end user requirements, all kinds of requirements that need to be collected and to have a really good understanding of to ensure that we're meeting the project objectives. Requirements collection is really also a process of having an understanding with these particular user groups, or rather with these particular stakeholders, to manage their expectations around what they can actually expect from the particular project. So it's possible that you'll be collecting a wide set of requirements, but it doesn't mean that that's all going to be entailed within the particular project that you have. In any case, it's important to get a good understanding of what those requirements are from your various stakeholders. What are their must-haves, what are their should-haves, and what are their nice-to-haves, and being able to have that conversation so you can prioritize the requirements that are going to actually need to be built into the system or whatever the service or product is before actually launching your project. When we're collecting requirements, we want to prevent recreating the wheel. You know, collecting requirements is an art form, but it's something that hopefully within your organization has been done before for previous projects. And so with that, you want to use templates, look at previous projects that are similar to yours to see what worked. Get a good understanding of what their lessons learned are around the requirements gathering project or around the requirements gathering process, and also having a good understanding of if your organization has guidelines or even standards that you need to abide by when you are collecting requirements. We want to have a good understanding of why the project was undertaken in the first place. So taking a look at our business case is going to answer that question. And this is going to inform us when we're having certain conversations with our stakeholders of what the trade-offs are. I mentioned, the must-have, should-have, could-have, nice-to-have type of scenario. And so having a good understanding of why the project was taken on in the first place will enable us to determine what the priority of particular requirements are. Now, in terms of the actual process to collect requirements, we can think of doing things like hosting workshops. So hosting workshops with particular users to really get a good understanding of what it is that they are expecting and what their requirements are. And so also things like shadowing your users to see what their day-to-day is like. So if we're automating a business process, for instance, then it's a good idea, if it's possible, to shadow your business users. A lot of the time now we're probably working remotely, so this will probably consist of a lot of screen sharing, but in any case, having your business users give you a good understanding of what their current state is, also understanding their pain points, and then seeing what are those requirements that will be needed to resolve those pain points that they have. Another technique that I've found really effective in eliciting requirements is prototypes. So prototypes are a sort of proof of concept where they enable us to have more detailed conversations around something that may just be a concept. When we're working on knowledge work projects, say for instance a software implementation, for instance, this is something that when we're talking about it, it can be easy to discuss and think in our minds of what something may look like. And it can look very different from what the end user is actually envisioning. And so prototypes are a great idea to elicit those requirements and to ensure that we have a common understanding of what it is that our client is looking for. Finally, once we've collected our requirements, we're going to have some type of requirements documentation. I work with Agile Scrum teams, so we've chosen to use user stories as our way to collect requirements along with epics and themes. And so ultimately it will be up to you and your team, and potentially your organization if you have something like a project management office that sets standards for how requirements are to be collected, to determine how those conversations are then going to flow into some sort of requirements documentation to be used for the project. This is a video answering the question, how to effectively collect requirements. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please do give this video a thumbs up, and I will talk to you all in my next video.